So, I normally don't talk about this on my channel, mainly because it could be a channel all on its own. And also the other reason why I don't is because if my channel was more successful, admittedly, and I had the time, I would start a wrestling channel. But I definitely need to say something about this because this is getting a little ridiculous. So there's a storyline going on with The Rock taking Cody Rhodes' spot in WrestleMania. And for all the people who don't know, you win the Royal Rumble, you get to pick the champion that you go after, and you get to headline WrestleMania. So whatever's going on, Cody Rhodes, who's Dusty Rhodes' son, Goldust's brother, if you know the old stuff, he gives up his spot to The Rock to face Roman Reigns, who's been the champion for like 3 years. And what ends up happening is that people really don't like this because they're very invested in Cody Rhodes. So, and him finishing his story and stuff. So, it's a big deal. Now, people are really angry about this storyline. We don't even know exactly what's going to happen. We don't know if Roman Reigns is going to be two-time. Like, is he going to wrestle both nights? Is he going? Like, we don't actually really know everything that's going on. We just know that Cody had The Rock come out. Seems like he gave up his spot. So people are really, really, really PO'd. And I remember talking online to people, and they're like, if he doesn't win at Mania, then it doesn't matter. And I'm like, why does the location matter if he still becomes champion? That still finishes the story, and he wants that specific title because that's the title his father had. Or had and got it stripped away, and it's like a big, big deal. So all of a sudden, people are like so up in arms. They're like, I'm not going to watch WrestleMania, even though WrestleMania is 2 nights, 4 hours each, and has like a ton of matches. Like Bayley and all these other people. Like Bayley, it's really cool to see her kind of getting back in the spotlight. She's really helped the women's division out in apparently a ton of ways. There's going to be tag team belts. There's going to be Elimination Chamber, and we're going to find out who goes after the other championship. So there's a lot going on. Sorry, had to park. So, The Rock's daughter, who is on NXT, their third show, it's kind of a brand to teach them how to become like superstars and get over, but it's also like its own show as well. For me, it's a very good show. It has its own storylines, kind of separate from everybody else and stuff like that. So, they used to have this group called Schism, and these guys called the Grizzly Veterans, they left, and there's a guy, Joe Gacy, so they kind of had to figure out what to do with them. And she became the youngest general manager in history. Now, a lot of people are mad about The Rock because they think it's a nepotism thing and stuff, and he decided to take over this spot because he's a board of directors person now with the TKO, which is UFC and WWE becoming one group. And so people are genuinely angry. They were happy with The Rock before when he said he was going after Roman Reigns. It was supposed to be a WrestleMania thing, but I was saying to my friend, I think it's because it's on the back of Cody Rhodes, even though we don't know the full story, that why people are very, very angry. Now, The Rock's daughter, Simone Johnson, aka Ava Raine, which is a cool wrestling name, she's the GM, and she had to deactivate her Twitter because people were so angry they were giving her death threats. And then I seen people say that Roman Reigns, I wish he would get cancer because he actually suffered from cancer. He's back in remission, but he actually had to leave for a while because of that. And then they were wishing death on The Rock and saying that the world, people are saying things like the world would be better if he was dead and things like that. And this is me just kind of randomly talking and seeing, and I may look for things to throw them up there, but I mean, you could look out there, literally Google her. And she got rid of her Twitter because she literally was like, I have nothing to do with the Cody Rhodes story. And this Rock story. Of course she did that. So, here's my thing. I'm a wrestling fan. Other people are wrestling fans. Wrestling is scripted. Notice I didn't say fake, because if anyone says it's fake, you go in that ring and do something, you take that kick to the face or that chair shot to the head, they really take those things. So, no, it's not fake, it's scripted. With that being said, if you're a person who is doing death threats simply because of a storyline in a wrestling show, what you need to do is go outside, touch grass, and then seek therapy. If you're wishing someone to have cancer because you don't like a wrestling storyline, take a look at yourself. You're the problem, not them. I don't understand the ridiculousness. And this is the stuff when you wonder why people look at people who are fans of like comic books, wrestling, and things like this, and you take it to death threats. That's what they're going to use to show you why the industry should be changed. And we get all these bad changes and these things we don't like. It's because of people like you. You pathetic piece of garbage. You're threatening a man's daughter because you're mad about a storyline because he took a spot at WrestleMania, even though, by the way, Cody already headlined WrestleMania last year. You're a loser. Seek help. Doing that kind of stuff is ridiculous. I don't care how woke something is. I don't care how far alt-right it is and all this stupid stuff where people think Comicsgate is a hate group. And I'm like, you're equating this to like skinheads and stuff. Are you crazy? It's comic books, dude. It's stupid. It's dumb. You're idiots for writing all this bad garbage and why things don't sell. But at the end of the day, it's comic books. It's not a life or death situation. But when people do this, I just like, you're doing death threats. Really? That's where we're at? Because you're mad about a storyline? You're to a point of, I'm not going to watch any of it. Which day? It's up to you. If you don't want to watch any of Mania, fine. But there's literally probably, I'm going to say, easily about 10 to 15 matches. No, that's a little high. 2 nights, 4 hours. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, maybe about 10. At max, they'll do is 15. You know why I'm thinking? Because at least a few of the segments, I forgot they have like a musical act. They have like a couple things. Sometimes they do backstage stuff. So not 15, but I would easily say probably about 8 to 10. Maybe 12 at the most. Either way, there's enough matches going on that if you had 8 matches, one match you may not like, but the others you do, so who cares? Or you made like half and maybe not the other half. Because you have the women's championships, you got the 2 male champions. That's 4 titles right there. That's why I was like, it might be actually 10 to 12. But either way, like, don't do that. If you think that you need to death threat somebody over a source of media, like a comic book, something you're watching on a TV show, if I get that these things can impact your life. I mean, heck, comic books have impacted mine, so have movies and stuff to like a very degree. A lot of things that are very important to me are those things. But you have to figure out a way to detach yourself. It's the same thing when you do the thing with J.K. Rowling or when people have a difference of an opinion. Saying you don't like someone or saying they're a certain type of way is one thing. Wishing death upon them is you're going overboard. You're going to an extreme of stupidity. Like I said, I see the thing with J.K. Rowling. You don't agree with her? Fine. You don't have to. Welcome to the world of America and the free world. You're allowed to have your own opinions. You don't have to, everyone has to agree with your opinion. You don't like her? Going on social media, Twitter, X, whatever it's called, and saying you wish her to have this or you wish this to explode her car and stuff. You're the problem. She's not the problem then. Because she's living her life, she gave out her opinion, and you're allowed to disagree with her opinion. But at the same time, if she gave out her opinion and you don't like it, okay, you could say hey, you're dumb, you're a jerk or whatever. But sitting there saying you wish they're ending, like, no, grow up, grow all the way up. So I think it's messed up, but it's actually showing still that there's a lot of toxicity to a degree in a lot of fandoms, and it's one thing to talk about it. It's one thing to say, hey, I'm not going to consume this anymore. I did it with Dr. I'm done. But I'm done with Back and Boom Studios for Kickstarters because that pricing was ridiculous for a 4-thing comic. I don't care if they're giving you a sticker and if they're giving you a like a little print. The comic is 4 issues of a regular comic book. And we're not even getting it on time. You're hitting us up in February for something that's going to come out in November or December. And people are going to get it first. just don't support it anymore. I'm not going to sit there and give Boom Studios a death threat because they use grimy business practices. It just means, okay, you got me now. I'll eat this. Just know you'll never get another dime from me. And a lot of people be the same way. I just won't back your stuff anymore. You saw what Kickstarter was doing, and I backed Berserk. I backed, I think, another Power Ranger thing. I didn't back the 30th anniversary one, and even that was kind of pricey. But I backed a few things from Boom. And this is the first time they've ever done something where they had like a chart of this might be the thing, and then it turns out to be it. So I'm like, okay, I'm done. And that's how you should be. When it comes to stuff like Star Wars, if you don't like what they're doing, I don't hate everything that they've done. A lot of more recent stuff, but like people like the sequel trilogy is terrible. I'm like, no, they have a terrible movie in there. But the Disney Star Wars also has stuff like Rogue One that I think is excellent. I don't care what anyone says. I still love Force Awakens. I know people like, it's like this. I don't care. I love Force Awakens. I love that movie. So it's not like people can't have things or don't like or something, but these still don't merit death threats. So I know I rambled on for a bit, but I'm just saying with the Ava Raine thing, like that's messed up. And The Rock is getting threats and stuff. And I'm like, you don't need to do that. So I don't know. To me, that this is just, I guess, a PSA, partially in the Ava Raine defense. She did nothing wrong. And then people are like, oh, she's a GM because her dad is like, okay. She's also grown up around Triple H and Shawn Michaels, who run the company too, and a few of the other people. So they could have been them as well. Like, hey, we've known her since she was a kid. We're gonna keep working with her. Who knows? But this whole thing of let's hate on them, like that's stupid. And don't wish death threats on people. If you think or you feel I'm gonna tweet this or I'm gonna post this or something, take a minute, take a breath. Heck, I've had videos where I've said like stuff and I start going off the wall, and then as I listen to it, I'm like, ooh, let me cut that out. Oh, you know what? That's a little harsh and it's a little overboard. And I'm not even doing death threats. I'm just saying certain things may be a little overboard. So before you post, take a minute. Just walk away for a second. Let your emotions settle. Come back and reread it and see if you want someone to say that to your kid or your mom or your family or your friends. Think about that. Do you want someone to say these things to people you care about because they don't agree with or they disagree with what you're saying? That's all I'm saying. Sorry, this has been longer than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was only going to be a 5-minute video. Anyway, tell me what you think. Like I said, it's not my normal stuff talking about wrestling, but overall, it's just the extreme that I'm talking about that needs to stop. Not everything is life or death. Keep protecting us. You stay safe, you stay healthy, stay real. See ya.